Your personal development matters the most from where you are right now. Bring your career into new heights with our affordable and quality in-demand virtual training programs designed just for you. Give your career a boost with a course or a training from Stellar Training Consultancy Services and join thousands of professionals from different walks of life in a learning and development session that fascinates you, motivates you, challenges you to learn new things that you'll use forever in a career you'll love. Find the right training for you today here at Stellar Training Consultancy Services, bringing excellence to professionals.
Stellar Training Consultancy Services Vision and Mission. Vision. Stellar Training Consultancy Services envisions to provide quality, affordable, reliable, accessible, and innovative training programs in the Philippines, thereby increasing global competitiveness and career growth of every individual. Stellar Training Consultancy Services ultimately desires to provide learning and development to all communities and professionals while ensuring both professional and personal growth by the end of every program. Mission. Stellar Training Consultancy Services is dedicated and committed to provide high-quality, accessible, and professional development opportunities in the form of training, webinar, seminars, workshop, or conference. Stellar Training Consultancy Services training programs were created out of a strong passion, a shared vision, and a ceaseless commitment to making learning easily accessible from anywhere in the Philippines.
Panalangin bago magsimula ang pagpupulong. Panginoong Hesus, sinabi mo, Kung saan may 2 o 3 nagkakatipon sa ngalan ko, kapiling nila ako. Panginoon, inihahandog namin sa iyo ang pagpupulong na ito. Gabayan mo kami sa aming pagtatalakayan at tanglawan mo ng liwanag ng Espiritu Santo ang aming mga isip upang makita namin ang naaayon sa iyong kalooban. Basbasan mo ang mga gagawin naming pagkilos at patnubayan kami sa bawat hakbang. Nagtitiwala kami na magiging maayos at mabunga ang aming pagtitipong ito, sapagkat narito ka sa aming piling. Amen.
All right, there we go. Hello sa lahat. Good afternoon and welcome po sa ating training for this afternoon, which is going to be all about effective internal coordination and communication training po. All right, so before anything else, I would just like to check po if you can all see and hear me clearly. There we go. Thank you for the thumbs up po. That's amazing. Sir Brent, Sir Rainier, Miss Pauline, and everyone else. Thank you so much for confirming. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Elmer Chong, and I'm working as a team client services, working for a market research agency that's also based in the Philippines and basically all across the globe. So yeah, that's what I do for a living, and that's where I work. And may I request on everyone po to please turn off your microphone for just a moment if that's fine with you guys. Thank you so much po. That is amazing. So, how are you all doing po on this fine Wednesday afternoon? Yeah? How are you all doing? Okay, good. Rainier, like that. How about the other ones? Are you all doing great? Feeling great? Feeling amazing? Mais naman po, Miss Christine. All right, mais man po. Also good. That is amazing. Okay naman po. All right. So I'm glad na some of you are feeling good and hopefully everyone else does feel the same. Hopefully hindi po tayo ganyan ka, no? Ganyan ka busy. But then again, it's Q3 of the year. Basically, it's gonna be it's going to get busier over the next couple of days, of course. At least for the rest of the year. Because of course, Q4 is coming. Alam po natin, the year-end reports, the performance appraisals, and all the other, intricacies of the job. Anyways, let's begin. Let me share my screen with you guys and let me know if you can see it or not. All right. Okay, so are we all seeing the material po ba? I hope we all are. Let me know if there are any issues po. Okay, amazing. All right, so this is gonna be about our training for today. Once again, this is effective internal coordination and communication training, and I'm sure that you know exactly how important it is to to learn more about this topic. right? And off we go sa ating training rules po. Number one, if at all possible, please turn on your camera for the first 20 minutes of training for attendance purposes. So someone from our team will be coming in and out of the call, and we'll be checking ano po, the uh the attendance. So it would be great to those who doesn't have their names properly shown sa kanilang screen name sa Zoom. Kindly change them sa name po na ginamit po natin during registration. So kasi meron kami nakita minsan yung mga iPhone, mga Samsung, ganito ganyan mga model na mga pangalan. So let's have them adjusted. So checking your name so far, I'm seeing quite a few. Siguro. But yeah, kindly have those change, right? So you just click on your name, and then may makita po tayo dyan na rename, right? So just have to change that. All right. So there are 24 of you. I'm expecting around 30 people, but I'm sure they'll be able to catch up. All right. Okay, number two po, to those who are able to turn on their cameras, let's all please wear proper clothing since the session will be recorded for quality and management purposes. All right. And then number three, uh, let's be attentive and be interactive during discussion. So if there's anything you would like to say, like an idea, an insight, an experience, but feel free in doing that. Would be great to have your at least hear your experiences, but or gather insight from you guys. It would be amazing, if you can just as we go along the discussion, feel free sharing your experiences, but right. And then number four, let's all respect each other, right? So we're all professionals here, and that should resonate sa ating, sa ating personality, characteristics, and so on. And aside from that, again, we're all professionals here, so let's all respect each other. Okay? So yun po yung mga training rules po natin. Very easy to remember, right? And off you go sa ating learning outcomes or the things you're going to be learning by the end of this material, and hopefully even more than what's specified here. Number one po, you'll all be able to explain the importance of internal communication and coordination in achieving organizational efficiency and alignment. Okay. Number two, you'll all be able to analyze the impact of these barriers on productivity, collaboration, and organizational culture. Number three, you'll all be able to propose practical solutions and strategies to overcome these barriers using real workplace scenarios. And then lastly po, you'll all be able to demonstrate the ability to prioritize information by producing concise summaries and action-oriented updates to reduce information overload, which is a very common thing, especially during mga org changes. That's a very common thing. So there should be, the proper structure that we need to follow. But then again, I'm gonna be asking you all a question, and here it goes. What's the funniest or most confusing misunderstanding you have ever had at work because of poor communication? So based on your experience po, ano po yung mga nakakatawa or the most confusing na misunderstanding na-experience mo natin at work as a result of poor communication? Feel free sharing them in the chat. Would be great to hear some of your experiences po. Mga bagay na nakakatawa or confusing because of poor communication. Working on the same project. So basically, isang project na assigned sa different people. Okay? Indeed. Thank you for that share, Sir Rainier. Yeah, and I think I've also experienced this one. Kasi sa amin kasi kapag merong ina-allocate ng mga project, there are, well, two steps that we do. So if you're all familiar with Microsoft D365, so doon po namin inaasa yung mga project, and at the same time, we're going to confirm the project assignment via email. So what happened was, there was another manager who assigned a project manager some project in D365 and the other one in emails. It was a bit confusing because both of them were assigned to a project on two different ways. Well, it should be one and two, but then again, yeah, so that's something like that. Anything else na experience po natin due to poor communication? Like there's this you know experience that I've heard, like yung mga Pinoy potluck. Diba yung bibigyan na tayo luto ng food, and then we're going to bring that to the office. So there was one, during the office Christmas party kasi, there was an HR who messaged, hey, magpapatlock tayo. Everyone bring a plate, ganyan. So one office mate literally showed up carrying an empty Chinaware na plato while everyone else brought food. Well, everyone laughed and said na, "Oy, at least ready ka nang kumain." Parang ganyan. So just due to poor communication or siguro iba yung pag-intindi ng mga bagay-bagay. Poor communication to members, exactly. Or yung mga rin, like your boss could say that, okay, so meron siyang isasabihin sa isang employee. They will say na kailangan ko to by Friday, and the employee expecting na isasubmit siya by end of day Friday. But then again, dapat pala sa bisa pa lang ng umaga, dapat nasubmit na because of a meeting or whatever na kinakailangan niya. It should be submitted first thing Friday. So something like that, right? Mga instances na nagkakaroon tayo ng mga miscommunication or at least misunderstanding due to poor communication. Well, it could be siguro mga lesser na ganyan mga experiences, That's fine. If ever na may ma-remember po tayo, feel free in sharing that in the chat box, alright? So, let us begin since we have lots to go through sa topic po natin, alright? And off we go with the fundamentals of internal communication and coordination. So here we have the importance of effective communication across teams. So effective communication po is the backbone of any successful organization, especially in team-based settings. It ensures that objectives are clear, tasks are coordinated, and everyone is aligned no matter their role. And that is indeed true, right? Because of course, what you need to understand is that effective communication is indeed the backbone of any successful organization, especially in a team-based setting. It, of course, number one, it aligns our objectives because everyone understands the company priorities, the goals, and of course, yung role of each staff and members in achieving them. A very important aspect. Aside from that, teams can collaborate smoothly, reduce yung duplication of work, mga redundancies, or if not, being assigned in one task, or at least two people being assigned in one task, and of course, avoid din yung mga missed deadlines. And it can also build trust and transparency in a way that open communication po fosters a healthy work culture, and it has its it can enhance yung accountability. Now, aside from that, having effective communication, of course, when messages are clear, employees waste less time yung mga clarifying on or pagka-correct ng mga mistakes. And then lastly, having clear updates and making transitions, for example, like mga new tools, mga new policies and structures are easier to adapt to if talaga na-communicate siya ng maayos. That's why in any organization, nagiging backbone talaga yung having effective communication. And here in the next page, you will see the examples of yung mga internal communication. And you will see here, and I'm sure that some of you, if not all of you, already understands yung mga nakalagay dyan. But let's start first sa weekly department huddles. All right. So for this one po, it's usually short meetings around mga 15 to 30 minutes done every Monday or Friday. Like for our organization, we were tasked to have huddles. Well, it's actually like ano na siya. Naging weekly huddle siya, but in a way, it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. At the beginning of the day, just to check yung capacity ng mga tao, ano yung mga current challenges nila, and what are their new learnings that they can share to the team, just so everyone is aligned with each other and alam din po ng team lead or ng kanilang manager in terms of their capacity. And aside from that, team align on mga ongoing projects, mga immediate na mga priorities, and they can set blockers as well. Na pwede sila mag-set on that particular day a time where they can discuss on a few things, especially if it's a project that two or more staff are working on, or at least a task na maraming nagtutulungan. Right? So, weekly department huddles. So, who here does that? Nag-huddle po ba kayo sa mga team po ninyo? And if so, what's the frequency? Do you also do that once a week or twice a week, three times a week? Or you just do yung mga monthly huddles? Well, hopefully you're actually doing this because it's very important for you to align with each other. especially during mga, mga projects and so on. Team huddles almost every other day. Oh, okay, so we're the same. So it's Mondays, off on Tuesday, Wednesday, wala naman sa Thursday, and then Friday. Okay. Thank you for that, Miss Karen. Kami po every Tuesday. All right. Okay. So the next one would be yung company HRS portal. So kapag ano po, yung company HRS portal, what it means is that ito yung nagiging central system where employees can access yung kanilang payslips, kanilang mga benefits, mga leave requests, and other policies. And of course, it also ensures yung consistency of information and reduces yung mga manual na mga HR queries. Because from your HRS portal, dyan na po agad makita po natin yung ating sahod, mga benefits nga natin, mga leave request, and other policies from within that particular na system. So in many BPOs in Cebu or Davao, and especially sa Manila, employees log into their HRS to file leaves instead sa pag-email sa HR. Okay? And for some, gumagamit ng Workday, may iba naman gumagamit ng ano. For us, it's Dorado. But for a few years, we actually use yung HRIS, but we had to do, mga bagong changes, right? Okay, so that is again HRIS. Next one, we have the HR email updates. Of course po, this is where official announcements like mga new policies, mga reminders, or mga company events. So dyan usually nagagaling yan. And of course, it keeps a formal record that staff can revisit if needed. So kapag ka na-send po ng mga HR yung mga ganyan mga updates, mga new policies, then of course, nasa-save po yan sa ating mga Outlook, sa ating mga Gmail, where you can refer back to kapag ka kinakailangan. Okay? And of course, another example for this one is that like an email from HR reminding everyone about the deadlines sa kanilang mga HMO enrollment, right? So something like that. If you have yung mga IntelliCare, mga MaxiCare, and then kapag kinakailangan that they have to be renewed for a particular day of the month, or at least for a month in a year, and of course, it will have to be sent by email so that everyone is reminded. And you can always refer back to that email kapag kinakailangan. Okay? The next one we have one-on-one evaluations. So for one-on-one evaluations, these are, of course, yung mga direct communication between a manager and an employee, usually monthly or quarterly. So for us, yung mga usual na topics sa one-on-one evaluation is yung aming SOE, or we call that the standards of excellence. Because may mga KPI po tayo, which is purely based on yung performance output ng ating mga employees. But what checks the behavioral aspect ng mga employees is of course yung standards of excellence. And usually during mga one-on-one evaluation, that's again being done usually monthly or quarterly. Well, at least for me, it's fortnightly. So meaning um, it's every other week, parang ganyan. So Wednesday, for if there are 4 weeks in a month, so I will do the one-on-one evaluation on the first week and then another one on the third week. And then it will now proceed to the next one na. So something like that. So during those communication, you can focus on mga performance feedback. It could be about mga career development as well, or if not, mga pagre-resolve ng mga concerns. Or again, kapag meron tayong mga feedback na receive from our sales, from our clients pertaining to that employee, then it would be good kapag nagiging timely yung ating mga evaluation. So there are real-time coaching, may mga weekly, may mga monthly din. So for the real-time coaching, as soon as may ma-receive tayong mga feedback, it would be good that you can prepare a bit and then you can get on with the conversation right away. Because kapag ka ganyan mga feedback, it should be timely. Hence, it's called real-time coaching or real-time evaluation. Okay, next we have Slack, MS Teams, Viber work groups. So of course, these are yung mga real-time messaging platforms for faster collaboration. So what we do in rather what we use sa aming organization is Microsoft Teams. And what about you guys? Ano pong ginagamit po natin? Do you use Messenger? Do you use Slack or Viber or WhatsApp? Okay, so for Miss Christine, it's Viber. Okay. So ano rin, so Miss Karen here earlier, she mentioned na team huddles every other day and same po MS Teams. Yeah. Viber. Yeah, because the beauty about Microsoft, because of course, alam po natin na mga usually ginagamit ng computer is Microsoft, then talaga nagkakaroon ng mga synchronization ng mga apps po natin from Outlook to MS Teams to Microsoft BOS to Microsoft Dynamics. So talaga nagkakaroon siya ng synchronization lahat ng mga tools po natin. Okay, we have here Miss Queen Joy. We have Viber as well. Okay. Thank you for that. So of course, ginagamit po yan for updates, pag mga file sharing, or if not, mga quick clarifications. So some Philippines na mga SMEs or mga small to medium enterprises prefer yung mga Viber groups since most employees already use it personally, while larger corporations can use yung mga Slack or mga Teams. So within STS po, we actually use Slack as a means of our communication sa lahat ng mga team members po natin. Okay, for Miss Margie, we have Telegram, Viber, WhatsApp. So what I noticed is that kapag ang mga American companies, talagang WhatsApp yung ginagamit nila. Mainly because, siguro that connection din sa Facebook. So that could be probably the reason why. But hey, okay, so next we have internal seminars and webinars. Of course, these are, mga it's going to be used to organize for mga training, mga skill building, or mga company-wide na mga updates, right? So this is mga it can be done face to face or it can be done virtually. So if you have yung L&D team or mga learning and development team po, so what they usually do is that pwede silang mag-conduct ng training siguro via Teams as well. It could be in a form na nagiging ano siya, it's like a live session where they can do it or pwede siya maging recorded as well. So either of which is gonna be fine. And yeah, so usually gumagawa din yan mga internal teams or again yung mga learning development team na nagpo-perform or at least nagkakandak ng ganyang training, especially if there are mga new systems na dapat matutunan ng mga employees. So that needs to be done in such a way that everyone will have all the necessary resources. So yung mga PDF files, mga walkthrough ng mga videos, and those can also be saved sa global knowledge base po ninyo if you have that, or at least yung isang website where you can view yung mga step-by-step procedures. But of course, it should also be done in such a way na nagkakaroon tayo ng mga internal seminars or mga webinars. Both can be done in a virtual setting, which like in Zoom, sa mga MS Teams, or it could be done virtually or rather face to face from within the office premises. Okay. Next po, we have the monthly digital bulletin. So of course, these are like my newsletter, like my in a form in an email, could be PDF or in your intranet post. So it could be use in a way na hina-highlight yung mga achievements natin for certain employees, for certain departments, mga bagong hires that you would all like to introduce to all the employees, or pag-announce sa mga birthdays, or there could be mga company news that could be relevant to all of the employees. Now, what that does is that it builds engagement and keeps employees updated beyond yung mga work tasks nila. So for us, we call that the zone. Yun yung ano namin, yung newsletter namin. So you will see there basically lahat ng kinakailangan mo. From news again, from newsletters to achievements to introducing new hires. Kapag ka meron mga birthdays, dun ina-announce. Para even if the person is from the Philippines, people from India, from Romania, from UK, and all the other branches that we have can actually greet that person. So it's really good to have that kasi nagkakaroon kayo ng interconnectivity between employees even if you don't all work in the same branch, then in a way nagkakaroon tayo ng collaboration in such a way. Right? So next we have Dropbox or online form. So this is channel for employees to submit mga anonymous feedback, mga complaints, or if not, mga suggestions nila. Again, so it could be in a way na naging anonymous tayo, or if you choose to do so, you can also give out your name, if you want to be contacted back to kapag gusto mong gusto nilang ipa-clarify ano yung mga feedback po natin. So what that does is that it encourages yung honesty and transparency without fear of retaliation. So as an example here, an online Google form, which is the usual na ginagamit po natin, is where employees can suggest improvements sa kanilang mga office facilities. Even here sa SCCS po, ginagamit po natin dyan is Google form. So if you notice sa mga registration po ninyo, it's either sa aming website or sa Google form na ginagamit po namin. Okay? So you can also do that, to gather feedback, to gather mga comments from your employees. Should you want them to have a means? Well, it's always a best practice to allow employees to have a sort of like a means na pwede lang ma-share. So it would be good to have that as well. And Google Form is one of which na madaling ma-access because everyone is free to access din naman din yung Google Form. Okay? Next, we have quarterly CEO updates. Of course, what that means is that these are the direct communication from leadership to all employees. So it's often via town hall or mga video message. So for us, we usually do that sa mga town hall na yung aming CEO from US na nagkakandak siya ng mga ng mga live videos where everyone can, of course, in real time send questions, which is really good because it shows na kahit pa nasa malayo siya, no matter how big the company is, you are going to be given the voice to to voice out your concerns, yung mga feedback po natin. So hopefully your CEO does that. So kahit pa hindi mo siya nakikita personally, nagkakandak pa rin siya ng mga town hall sessions na everyone can participate, everyone can join, everyone can turn on their videos, and pwede silang mag-give out ng kanilang mga, I don't know, mga questions or whatnot. Okay. Next, we have the bulletin boards or digital signage. So what this does, of course, these are mga physical or mga digital boards in office premises. So it's useful for mga front employees who may not check email regularly. So as you go sa production area po ninyo, you will see there sa mga pader, meron po tayong mga nakalagay ng bulletin boards and you will see there yung mga yung mga latest po na mga news or mga updates where kapag hindi naman din nila ma-check online because siguro napaka-busy nila, then they will have something to view upon as they go around or as they roam around sa office premises. So would be good to have that. Okay? So those are again examples of internal communication. Hopefully po meron po tayo niyan lahat. If there's one thing missing here, then I suggest na there needs to be something done as soon as possible to have everything in the list here added sa organization po ninyo. All right, so here are the key reasons why effective communication is important. Of course, the reason number one is again, it enhances collaboration. Now, good communication fosters teamwork by making sure everyone understands the responsibilities and timelines. Now, what ensures collaboration is that meron tayong pagkakaintindihan between what separates you from me in terms of our responsibilities and in terms of how we view on a bigger picture. This is where your puzzle piece, kung saan ka nakaposition and how my job and your job is connected to each other, which then if we understand that in a in an eagle's eye view, then talagang you are going to be working collaboratively with your colleagues because you know na you are all interconnected with each other. And this is usually the job of any team lead or mga manager to ensure alignment from their sa kanilang mga employees. Okay, so indeed it enhances collaboration. Number two, rather, it prevents misunderstandings because it avoids confusion, conflicting goals, and errors due to miscommunication. So just like a couple of my examples earlier, so kapag hindi talaga klaro yung communication, it does lead to misunderstanding. It could be because siguro may language barrier, or it could be that may mga idioms na mga ginagamit that could not be that siguro hindi siya ganyan ka-familiar for all of the employees. That could also be one of which. But the whole point is that clear communication avoids confusion, hindi nagkakaroon ng mga conflicting na mga goals, and mga costly errors that often result from misinterpretation or mga incomplete na information. So next, number three, we have build trust. So transparent communication builds credibility and stronger relationships among departments. And that is indeed true. Because again, transparency and consistent communication builds credibility, especially sa ating mga managerial side, and it enhances accountability. And of course, it also enhances yung stronger relationships between individuals, mga teams, and other departments. Okay, lalo kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng mga interdepartmental meetings, it ensures na nagkakaroon tayo ng alignment from each other and that it builds trust. Because you know exactly na ano yung naging challenges nila or that kapag ka meron silang mga concerns over one department, then they have this way to communicate with each other, to discuss differences, or at least to reassess whether the current running ng mga SOPs are indeed, you know, kung feasible pa ba siya or there needs to be some revisions to it. And if there needs to be done revisions, then talaga gagawin nila, talaga magkakaroon ng collaboration between department and in one way or the other, it builds trust. Okay? And number four, it improves efficiency and productivity because it reduces redundant work and ensures efforts are not duplicated. So alam po natin kapag may isang task na ginagawa ng dalawang tao and then them not knowing that someone else is doing the job already, so it's gonna be, a waste of time, a waste of effort, a waste of money for everyone. So kapag ka nagkakaroon tayo ng effective communication, then it's going to be ironed out lahat ng ganyan mga klaseng communication where everything is gonna be clear from the beginning and that you will know exactly on the whole picture ano yung part nasa iyo, what's gonna be part of the sa mga colleagues po ninyo. And especially kapag yung mga project po natin is yung um yung mga Scrum or mga Kanban. So if you have those types of projects, then of course it would be good na talaga nagkakaroon tayong alignment. So if it's a waterfall type of project, that's fine kasi hindi ka na makaka-process step 2 without finishing step number 1. But for Scrum and Kanban type of projects, then dapat talaga you are all in alignment. Effective communication is going to be the epitome of your success, right? So number five, we have supports decision making. So it helps teams make informed decisions based on accurate and timely information. So indeed, kapag maayos yung communication natin, then of course, sharing accurate and timely information will then talagang nakakatulong siya to sa mga leaders natin and of course the team in general to make well-informed decision that align with our organizational priorities. So kapag kulang or outdated yung mga information na pinagbabasehan natin, then it will lead to a poor decision. But then again, if we have all the cards that we need, all the information that we need, and they are all updated, then of course our decisions are going to be based from those data na talaga nakakatulong are updated. Okay? Which then results to a more higher chance of success. Okay, number six, we have encourages innovation. So open discussions across departments bring diverse perspectives that inspire innovation. And that is one thing that is nagiging talaga ng democratic or participative type of communication that everyone have a voice na pwedeng na talagang napakikinggan. So effective communication acts in a way na everyone is allowed to give their feedback, to share their opinions, to share their siguro mga proposals nila or mga kanilang mga ideas. And in such a way, it brings in those diverse perspective on the table na instead of just having one view on the matter of a specific problem, nagkakaroon tayo ng 360 view sa isang problem which will then enhance more of our mga action-oriented solutions natin because it doesn't come from one source of information but rather it comes from the collaboration of a group of people which then enhances yung kanilang yung kanilang again their chance rate or their rate of success because there's collaboration with each other. Meron silang democratic na mga practices na hindi siya nagiging autocratic. Well, no hate for mga autocratic na mga strategies, but then again, it would always be good to have everyone's perspectives on the matter. And then number seven, we have strengthens organizational culture. It promotes a culture of openness, respect, and shared values. Again, effective communication po promotes yung openness because everyone is allowed to speak up. They are being listened to. Because one aspect of effective communication is, of course, yung active listening as well. Okay? So there's this sense of respect and there will be shared values na nagkakaroon talaga ng having alignment on those shared values, which will then contribute to a stronger and a more unified workplace culture. Okay, so again, these are the key reasons why effective communication is important. So there could be more on siguro mga technical na mga specifications or if not mga actual na mga scenarios. But then again, in a more general sense, ito yung nagiging reason talaga. So let's watch the video on starting small talks at work. And let me know po kapag wala pong audio. Alright?
Small talk at work examples. Small talk is like snakes or spiders. It may be small, but it can still send grown adults into heart palpitations. And that's okay. Small talk can seem insidious and confusing, like spiders. As if you need a degree to figure out what's happening. Luckily, much like snakes, they aren't that scary if you know how to handle them. Small talk is easier when you have set questions to ask, facilitating a conversation. Simply remember a few interesting conversation starters, and away you go. 3 question types. There are 3 main kinds of questions to have a successful conversation. Finding the kind you're comfortable with can have a go-to method for starting and continuing any conversation. Type 1. Start with a compliment, connect questions. This is a prevalent type of question, and we often hear it. I love your shoes. Where did you buy them? You did a superb job on that report. Do you have any tips for my next report? That's such a cool laptop. What kind is it? Why did you buy it? Asking these questions starts the conversation and immediately gives it somewhere to go. Type 2. Get the conversation rolling with engaging questions. Although this may sound difficult, we've put together a list from which you can pull a few favorites to start any conversation. Some of the best work-related conversation starters include, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you here? What's the best lunch place around here? What shocked you the most about your current job? Tell me about your current role. Can you show me how to blank, please? What's the quirkiest request a boss has ever given to you? Tell me about your greatest day as and blank. Would you rather either work 4 10-hour days or 4 5-hour days? How did you begin working in your occupation? What's the worst career advice you've ever received? What would you be up to if you didn't have to work? What's some excellent career advice you've received? How did you become a blank? What's one skill that would make your job 100% easier? What's your style of leadership like? What type of background do you need to be a blank? What was your first job like? If you could swap places with any colleague, who would it be and why? And what did your last job consist of? Type 3. Ask for advice or opinions. Everyone wants to feel important, like they know what they're doing and are trusted to do it well. By approaching someone and immediately giving them the upper hand by asking for their advice or opinion, you can quickly start a conversation that you can keep flowing. If you find this information helpful, please help other people to discover it more easily by hitting the like button. Thank you very much. Take a deep breath and be yourself. Small talk is also like snakes or spiders because it's more afraid of you than you are of it. If you remain calm and remember to breathe, small talk doesn't have to be that terrifying. If you're nervous about talking about yourself, don't be scared to ask lots of questions of your conversational partner. Permitting space for the other person to talk can make them feel you are a much better conversationalist than you truly are. To improve your communication skills, download a free ebook, How to Talk to Anyone, 10
All right. So again, yeah, if you would like to know more about that, you can just search for that ebook, siguro yung How to Talk to Anyone. So yeah, I have a follow-up question to this one po. So what kind of person are you? Are you the person who starts conversation, or are you a person who just wait for someone to talk to you? So especially if it's your first day at work, or siguro way back when you were at school, are you the kind of person who just sits around and just wait for someone to approach you and ask you questions and then the conversation starts rolling? Or are you a person who initiates? If you ask me long before, I was a person talaga na who will just sit on my chair and just wait for someone to connect. Always the one waiting. Miss Christine? Yeah. How about the other ones here? Wait someone to start. Siguro yung mga tao siguro pumipili ng mga virtual training. I think most of you guys are introverted in one way or the other. Miss Margie, depends on the person whom you will talk with. Right. I mean, there's that person na alam po natin na you have this synergy siguro na you will know na parang same kind of frequency. So it will really attract you to talk to that person. That could be it. But for me, all the way since kinder to elementary to high school to college, I'm always the one to wait. I don't want to spark conversation. Yeah. As I live by the words, less talk, less trouble. But yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Let's continue po sa ating next topic where we have creating effective internal workflows and escalation paths. So workflows po are step-by-step processes that define how tasks are initiated, assigned, monitored, and completed. Escalation paths ensure that unresolved issues are elevated to the right authority. And of course, in any type of mga escalation path, what you don't want to do is bypass someone unless the next escalation path is the person that you have a problem with. So that's a different story. So if you have beef with your team leader or meron kayong issue with your team leader, then you can go to your supervisor right away. So like in those cases. So kapag may mga grievances procedure, then you can talk to your supervisor right away, or you can go to HR directly or just refer to your grievances procedure. But then again, you will still have to talk to your HR. Yeah. So yeah, the thing about yung escalation process is that there needs to be yung talaga um, there's work yung mga workflow. Because workflow po again is a step-by-step process that define how tasks are, of course, defined or how they are number one initiated. So who starts the process and when, and who assigns those, kung sino yung responsible for specific task, and who monitors them, kung how progress is tracked, and how it's gonna be defined as completed. So meaning how outputs are finalized and are delivered. So a well-defined workflow ensures na merong consistency, there's accountability, and there's efficiency across all organization. Now, escalation paths, on the other hand, are structured communication routes that specify who issues are elevated to and when they cannot be resolved at a certain level. So what this does, it prevents yung mga bottlenecks or mga delays because you don't have to go to everyone else because you know exactly who to reach out to, right? So meron talaga tayong route on ano yung nagiging escalation path natin. So you know exactly, as per always, you will have to refer to your direct leader or sa team leader po ninyo or to your manager, depends on who are you connected with. And aside from that, it ensures na merong accountability at each step because you know exactly who to reach out to. It also clarifies the roles and responsibilities, especially on the side of the management. Ano yung nagiging role niya in specific issues, mga grievances procedures, or any other na mga, for example, magkakaroon ng mga office, how do you call this, mga disputes. So, kung sino yung nagiging mediator and whatnot. So, there needs to be clear escalation paths. So, again, for as you can see here, so in a BPO company, yung mga frontliner natin can go directly to their team leader. If it doesn't work, the team leader can go to the supervisor, or the supervisor can then go to the client account manager. If that's kind of a problem, that is that escalated. In a government office naman, so yung mga receiving clerk natin can go to the evaluation officer. And the next in line, we have the department head. And lastly, the approving authority. So having clear escalation path reduces delays. It avoids confusion. It ensures accountability. It also clarifies responsibilities, prevents duplication of work, and ensures compliance. Right? And aside from that, yeah, pine-prevented natin yung mga bypasses. Dapat alam po talaga ng ating mga direct manager what's happening, and from then on, pwede sila mag-escalate, or if the person you're having problem with is your team leader, then you can jump one step ahead, okay, and then report it from there. So organizational charts to define coordination structures. Of course, yung mga organizational charts natin show reporting lines and team structures, helping staff know who to coordinate with. So if you don't know yung ano natin, yung mga clear path natin, you can just check po yung ating org structure natin. So example here, a hospital uses an organizational chart to clarify who reports to the chief nurse, to doctors, and department heads. So the SOPs define how patient admissions, mga lab tests, and billing are coordinated. And in a construction company naman who has an SOP for accident reporting, so the worker can go to their site engineer and it can be escalated through their safety officer and all the way to their HR. So you will see here directly talaga na alam po na natin yung kung sino yung pagre-reportan natin. Because of course, org charts visually map out kasi yung mga reporting lines natin, mga authority levels, and yung mga team structures. So they really help employees understand kung again, kung kanino mag-report, because it clarifies accountability and authority, who to coordinate with, which prevents confusion and duplication of work, how decisions flow. It shows the escalation in the mga approval paths, and then where responsibilities lie. Meaning, it defines the roles in daily operations and the emergencies. So when paired with the SOPs po, yung mga standard operating procedures natin, organizational charts provide a clear framework for communication and coordination. Okay, that's how important it is. So here you will see then po, introduction to our productivity tools. So digital tools improve coordination, documentation, and project tracking, especially in hybrid or remote work, and also those that are on site. So you will see here a couple of mga tools po that siguro mga most of the companies, if not all the companies use nowadays. Well, depends upon the industry still. But then again, we have here yung number one, the Google Workspace, right? So these are mga Google Docs, mga Google Sheets, Google Drive. These are real-time collaboration on proposals and reports, right? So what Google Workspace does is that again, it enables real-time collaboration on documents kasi two employees, if not more employees, can access one sheet or Google Sheet or parang Microsoft Excel sa Google na company. And then all of you guys can work together on one sheet, especially if it's data entry, where you are in charge of a few columns or a few rows, which then mas napapabilis yung process po natin because all of you are working towards the same file. And I don't have to wait for employee A to finish yung kanya side before siya isa-send sa akin. So basically, it's gonna be real-time collaboration on specific documents, mga spreadsheets, or mga reports. And aside from that, the files are stored in the cloud or sa Google, it's Google Drive, making them accessible anytime, anywhere. So as long as you have the internet, then pwede po natin yan na ma-access from your phone, from your tablet, from your laptop, from your desktop, device. Okay, so next one we have MS Teams. So here you can do team chats, mga video meetings, and mga project channels used widely by banks and multinationals and in PH or in the Philippines. Okay, so if you look at this, ito yung logo po ng Microsoft Teams po, which I'm sure that you know of. There you go. So these are mga tools na ginagamit usually. So we have the Microsoft Word, we have the Microsoft Excel, we have the PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook, tsaka yung OneDrive. So if Google has Drive, which is ano bang logo ng Drive? I think this one, right? Or is it this one? I don't know, forgot. But anyways, if Microsoft has OneDrive, then Google has Google Drive as well. Okay. So next we have Trello. So visual tasks, boards for tracking project progress, common for marketing and IT teams. So this is usually yung mga talagang hinahanap ngayon ng mga international companies. So if you have LinkedIn accounts and if you notice some of their mga corporate na mga vacancies, talagang nagre-request sila or at least sa kanilang specifications ng job is that they look for someone who has basic knowledge or if not an expert knowledge of the usage of Trello. Kasi yung kanilang mga project management na mga progress are being tracked via Trello. So makita po natin lahat ng mga pangalan ng mga employees dyan and then ano yung mga tasks na in charge sila. And then you will also see kung ano yung progress ng kanilang mga trabaho. So on a team lead perspective, on a manager perspective, it enhances yung kanyang visibility sa lahat ng mga tasks ng kanilang employees. And of course, you as an employee as well, you will see there ano yung mga tasks na naka-assign po sa inyo, and you know exactly what to start with, what to do next, and what needs to be followed up, what needs to be siguro escalated sa mga escalation path po ninyo, right? So you will have this visibility. Hence, Trello is one of the things na talagang hinahanap ng mga recruiters ngayon, especially for international companies. Notion, here we have centralized knowledge base for SOPs, mga guidelines, and project notes. So Notion for some, for us, it's Confluence. So Confluence po, or Notion, is like a tool na dyan po nakalagay lahat ng mga knowledge base natin. So if there's like specific systems or mga tools na gusto mong matutunan, so that is the place that you need to go to. So of course, that warrants you to have your login credentials. Kasi meron po yung mga access controls, mga access restriction, where you as an employee siguro pwede ka lang mag-view, but for managerial positions or at least sa ating mga learning and development team, they can revise, they can delete, they can, change anything sa mga files na sinasend nila, or at least nilalagay nila dyan. So there needs to be access controls. But then again, that is where you can view lahat ng mga kinakailangan mong basahin in order for you to become, a well-rounded employee. So as what I would call it before, Confluence is like Bible to me. So that's the reason why talagang I was able to know the worst of the ways of the company because of, reading lahat na nakasulat sa Confluence, or at least in this case, Notion. Slack naman, a team communication and collaboration platform that organizes conversations into channels by project, team, or if not a topic, right? So ito yung ginagamit po namin. And the logo of that is this one, Slack. Pwede kayong mag-team call dyan, pwede kayong mag-chat and so on. So yeah. And we have Asana, also the same as Trello. So this is a task and project management tool that allows teams to assign tasks, set deadlines, and monitor progress. And another one na hindi pa na-mention din dyan, yung mga sumisikat ngayon, is yung Monday.com. Yeah, so that's one of which as well. So just a quick question po, is there anyone here who uses Trello, Asana, or Monday.com sa kanilang mga workflows? Do we have any of those participants here? Wala po. Okay, and no worries with that. But yeah, again, if you are going to incorporate sa mga trabaho po ninyo, that would be really great. Kasi again, nakita po natin lahat ng mga trabaho ng mga ka-teammate natin, or if you are a manager or a team lead, talagang meron kayong overview sa lahat ng ginagawa nila. So it takes time to set up at first, but once you get to know the ways of the work, and kapag nagiging consistent tayo dyan, it becomes easier. And you can even create your own template na kayo yun mas nakakaintindi, or at least mas na-integrate natin sa ating mga workflows talaga. So you're not yet. And that's totally fine po. But at least we are now aware of this ones if you are not yet. Alright, so moving on to the common barriers to internal communication. So alam po natin talagang nagkakaroon tayo ng mga barriers sa ating internal communication. And we have here listed a couple of few. But before that, internal communication po is essential for organizational efficiency. Yet many companies, especially in the Philippine context, face challenges to that prevent information from flowing smoothly. And below are the common barriers. Okay? So number one po, we have yung silo mentality, which is explained in the next page. And as mentioned here, departments or teams work in isolation, withholding information that could benefit others. So yung silo mentality po, if you look at the picture, para bang kayo-kayo lang. So in a specific na department, lahat ng information, lahat ng mga knowledge na alam po ninyo are just within the bounds of your department. So hindi po natin na-share sa iba. It could either be intentionally or unintentionally, but the point there is we have this mentality na whatever we know, then dapat tayo lang kakaalam. So in certain aspects, siguro yes, it applies. But for any organizational context, we need to really grow away from silo mentality. So again, what happens is that teams focus only on their own goals then as well, not the bigger picture. Yung competition between departments can discourage yung mga sharing information as well. So naging epekto din po niyan is that nagkakaroon tayo ng mga delay sa decision making. Kasi hindi lahat ng information na share natin sa ibang departments. Nagkakaroon din ng errors due to missing information kasi nga of withholding information. And in certain scenarios, naka-encounter tayo ng mga duplication of work. Okay? So, as an example here, a logistics team in the government agency doesn't inform finance about delays in deliveries, causing mga budgeting issues. And this is one great example. Kasi nga, kapag yung logistics team natin doesn't update the finance about the shipment, mga delays, when budgeting team prepares the reports, they assume that everything is on schedule, leading to inaccurate na mga budget allocations. So the solution in silo mentality, of course, you need to encourage cross-department meetings. So lahat ng mga department heads, dapat nag-uusap-usap sila, discussing about lahat ng mga workflows, ano yung mga challenges nila, ano yung mga recent issues na na-encounter nila, ano yung naging root cause, and what are the possible solutions to those mga, mga problems na yon. And do something about it. And then you can also use mga shared dashboards or mga collaboration tools like MS Teams or mga Google Drive where all of you guys can work on the same na mga files or documents para talagang hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng mga hindi synchronized na mga apps. For example, yung mga Excel file. Meron kayong mga documents na ina-update ng ganitong department and the next department. You don't have to wait for the other department to finish or in worst case scenario pa dyan, iba-iba yung ginagamit nating file. So you will update your own file, they will update their own file, pero hindi kayo nagkikita-kita in the middle. So that causes yung ganitong silo mentality or yung mga silo na mga scenarios. So again, dapat nagkakaroon tayo ng collaboration between departments. There should be communication, mga discussions, mga calls from our department heads. Or if not, then lahat ng mga department staff will have siguro mga get-together, mga ganyan, just for them to, you know, to know each other, to discuss or share ideas and whatnot. But the point there, collaboration is necessary. Next, we have unclear communication protocols. So no standardized way of sharing information across teams lead to confusion or mga missed na mga messages. Right? So it happens because kapag wala tayong standardized na mga process for sending updates or kapag meron tayong mga multiple channels that are used inconsistently like sometimes email ginagamit, sometimes a chat, sometimes a notice board. So kapag wala tayong fixed na pamamaraan on how we are going to give out this communication, then talaga magkakaroon ng mga confusion or there will be messages that will be missed by our employees. So, mahirap dyan kapag meron mga bagong tools na na-implement and then only a few people knows about what it is. Or kapag meron mga meetings na sinend lang sa email but siguro na-miss out ng iba, so then maraming hindi makakapag-attend. So ito yung naging epekto niya. Or there could be, again, mga employees missing important about announcements, may mga confusion over who is responsible for certain tasks, right? So the solution for this one, I would say, is that you need to establish one official communication channel. Or if you're going to release information in one specific channel, then there should also be information released on the different channels that you have. So kapag nag-release sa email, there should also be mga messages released on the chat. Or mga notice, or together with that is meron din tayong notice boards. Or sa mga kapag meron kayong mga newsletter, mga sa internet po ninyo or sa company website, then there should also be those particular postings of those messages from there. Para talagang alam ng lahat. So as an example here as well, in an SME or small to medium enterprise, announcements are made via group chat, email, and bulletin boards with no official channel. Some employees miss critical updates. So ito yung mga talagang nangyayari dyan. Okay, number 3, staff or other assumptions and misinterpretations. So staff assume others already know or understand something leading to confusion. So yung mga akala ko ganito, akala ko ganyan. So ito yung mga assumptions and yung mga misinterpretations. It happens because of course people assume everyone reads memos or messages. So you will have this predicament na siguro alam mo na yan or you know exactly what I'm talking about pero hindi naman din talaga. Right? Ito yung mga assumption ng ibang tao, or if not, siguro kapag hearsays na yung nakukuha natin, then it will lead to the wrong ideas, it will lead to mga interpretations. Kasi nga, hindi siya first-hand knowledge. Or, again, it could be instructions na medyo hindi klaro din as well. So, naging epekto niyan is may mga tasks na hindi na nagagawa ng maayos, or deadlines could be missed. So as an example here, a project head assumes everyone read the updated memo on deadline changes, but some team members continue working with the old timeline. So kapag kayong timeline natin is way beyond sa new timeline, then people are gonna expect na mahaba pa naman din yung time natin. So pwede pa tayong makapag-relax, pwede pa tayong mag-procrastinate. So when when in reality yung deadline pala is tomorrow na. So that kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding. So solution here is of course always confirm receipt of your messages if at all possible. Kapag you are leading a team of siguro mga subordinates po ninyo, and then you are sending messages, advise your team to react to your messages para alam po natin as managers or team leads na talaga nababasa nila yung sinasabi po natin. Or if you're using MS Teams or siguro sa, I don't know, sa mga WhatsApp, you have the option to also view kung sino yung mga nakabasa ng mga messages mo. So for me, what I usually do is whenever I send out yung mga ganyang information or mga news or updates sa aming group chat, is that I always check kung sino yung nakabasa na. So just so I know exactly na talagang alam or talagang nabasa na nila yung mga dapat kong or mga sinend ko sa kanila. Or you can also encourage asking clarifying questions that, hey, do you have any questions about the update I've sent earlier? Just to spark a conversation that if kung talagang narinig nila or talagang nabasa nila yung mga sinasabi po natin. So that's really important for you to also ask clarifying questions. Okay? Next po, we have lack of feedback channels. So employees have no way to ask questions, seek clarification, or give input. So, dyan yung nangyayari. So, especially kapag mayroong mga bagong tools, mga bagong policies, mga bagong software na ginagamit po natin. So, it would be good for your employees to have a feedback channel na pwede silang makapag-ask questions, pwede silang makapag-check sa mga in charge on mga challenges nila, mga issues na nakikita nila, mga bugs na napapansin din nila for them to be able to reach out directly. Or at least, going back to the escalation path, so in my case, kapag mayroong mga bagong tools na na-implement sa aming organization, I asked my employees or other my subordinates to do any of the sorts. They can reach out directly to the product owner or kung sino gumawa ng mga system na yan kasi meron silang sinasend ng mga feedback forms, or they can send those questions to me, and then I can collate lahat ng mga comments nila, mga feedbacks nila, and I can send them myself sa mga product owners or sa mga IT department or whoever the person is nagiging point of contact sa ganyan mga issues. So you can do it in that way. But the point there is that dapat alam ng employees natin where to reach out to, how to reach out to them. Okay? So that's a very important aspect. Example here, a retail chain rolls out their new POS procedures but doesn't allow branch staff to share challenges or suggestions leading to frustration. Or kapag meron silang napansin na bug sa ibang department or sa ibang sa ibang branches, and then kailangan pang ma-experience ng ibang branch yung issue before siya ma-address sa same branch na yan. But if all of you guys have this one channel na nakikita din ng lahat ng mga tao, then of course it doesn't have to be that you have to experience the problem yourself, but by reading or learning about what the other people's challenges are, then pwede tayong magkaroon ng a second-hand na experience. So, hindi mo na siya gagawin or iiwasan mo yung ganyan, or you will wait for the update to be done para hindi mo ma-experience yung kanilang mga naging, mishaps nila. So, there needs to be a feedback channel and there needs to be transparency as well. Okay? Next, we have the hierarchical culture. So communication only flows top-down, limiting open exchange of ideas. And ito yung nagiging usual na pangyayari na yung CEO all the way down to the management level are the only ones allowed to speak to the subordinates, and there's no down to top na communication. right? So in order for us to have a collaboration between the subordinates and the management, then dapat nagkakaroon tayo ng two-way communication. And na hindi po pwede nagiging monologue lang siya. There needs to be a dialogue in such a way na yung receiving end can also express their ideas, can express their comments, can share their proposals, their ideas, their insights on specific matters, right? So kinakailangan po 'yan. So it is important because of course it encourages again yung mga collaboration, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga you know, nagkakaroon ng tiwala, there's this credibility, may transparency and so on. But yeah, naging effect kasi niyan kapag walang ganyan, of course, mga important ideas or concerns are withheld, you know, or mga communication becomes one way, which is not good, and employees may feel na wala silang opportunity to share their ideas. So, hindi po maganda yung ganyan. But yeah. So again, what you need to do, you need to encourage open door policies. Yung mga town halls na pwede makapag-comment yung ating employees, they can ask questions, they can express their, I don't know, siguro mga feedback nila or kanilang frustration or their compliments on whatever is happening. And of course, leaders should actively solicit input. So yung mga leaders natin dyan, always ask for feedback. Huwag po tayong matakot sa kanilang feedback. We are there to listen, we are there to gather, and we are there to be as impartial as we need to be. Na hindi po tayo dapat nagiging bias as well. So we need to be in the middle at all times. Okay? So next, we have information overload. So bombarding teams with too much information without prioritizing can cause important details to be ignored. So kapag ka masyadong marami ng information na sa send out natin, of course, nagkakaroon tayo ng information overload or IO, parang ganyan. So of course, kapag again, mga too many messages sent without emphasizing ano yung pinaka-importante dyan, or kapag meron tayong mga multiple channels and irrelevant na content, increases yung clutter. 'Di ba? Kapag marami tayong masyadong channels na ginagamit, na hindi naman din dapat kinakailangan, so that could also lead to, messy na understanding. So, as an example here, employees receive dozens of email daily, missing key memos in the clutter. So wala siyang one information, patagpi-tagpi yung kanilang mga pagsend ng info, which can be, I would say, overwhelming for our employees. So what needs to be done? You need to prioritize and categorize messages. We have the mga urgent, mga important, or mga FYI lang na mga info. Or you can also limit communication channels where possible. It's like you have your emails, you have your MS Teams, and that's it. Or if it's a company-wide na email, then of course you have your company website. So just limiting as much as possible yung kung saan magaling info so that they don't have to jump from one source to the other. So next, we have lack of training on communication tools. So teams are unfamiliar or uncomfortable with digital tools used for internal communication. So ganyan, kapag hindi talaga nila alam kung paano gamitin yung mga tools, like they're not that siguro skillful sa paggamit ng Slack, ng MS Teams, kung saan pupunta ganito, para pag-send ng ganyan, and so on. So that could also be one of which. So especially kapag mga new software is introduced without proper guidance, so that can lead to, people not having the right skill set to use such tools. Or kapag older or mga provincial staff may be unfamiliar with yung mga digital platforms kasi hindi sila sanay sa mga ganyan tools at sanay sila sa mga manual stuff. So talagang hindi sila aware on the communication tools. Okay? So example here, a provincial LGU adopts Microsoft Teams, but many staff rely on SMS, yung pagte-text, or email because they weren't trained properly. Or they do not understand kung ano yung benefit with transitioning to Microsoft Teams. So isipin nila, bakit tayo mag-transition when the old ways works much more effectively? So kapag hindi klaro yung pinaka-purpose or people doesn't understand why the transition was actually made, then talagang aayo yung mga tao, maging resistant sila sa change. So from the get-go, whenever introducing new tools, dapat is alam ng tao kung bakit natin kailangan mag-transition. Okay? So yeah. So then we have here, moving over to the next topic po, how to overcome these challenges. Of course, in general, you can establish clear communication protocols and channels such as official emails, mga dashboards na kung saan Diyan nila pwede kunin yung mga information na kinakailangan nila. You don't have to have too many channels or mga protocols have in place kasi nakakalito yan kapag if you pair that up sa kanilang mga responsibilities, sa kanilang mga reporting lines, sa kanilang mga obligations and whatnot. And having too many info all around can again spark yung information overload. May mga miss out, may mga assumptions, may mga misunderstandings, so might as well establish clear communication protocols and channels that everyone understands. Encourage cross-functional meetings or to break yung mga silos. Again, meetings between departments, meetings between each employees or mga subordinates para nagkakaroon ng alignment, sharing of ideas, sharing of experiences para nape-prevent yung ating mga silos. Promote a culture of openness and psychological safety. So, very important po yan na nakakapag-open up sa employee. Hindi po pwedeng naging one-way yung communication. It needs to be two-way. So, as a manager, if you speak to your employee can also share the information back to you para nagiging nga siyang dialogue. Hindi siya one-way lang. And of course, for any manager, you are required to be, at least, you need to have active listening skills. You need to learn to listen. Well, more than listen. You need to understand, you need to empathize, and you need to really listen to what your employees are saying. And provide communication tool, training sessions, very important po yan, lalo kapag hindi sanay yung mga employee natin. Teach them how to use mga tools po ninyo. Or at least there needs to be sharing of information, like meron kayong group chat and allow everyone to ask any questions from there. And hindi naman kinakailangan lang kahit team lead kayo, kayo dapat sasagot sa lahat ng question. Allow everyone to share their input. So hindi dapat nagiging single source of information si manager, si employee o si team lead, but rather everyone should be able to share their ideas sa group chat po ninyo. Okay, and set regular feedback loops like mga town halls, mga anonymous forms, so that everyone will be able to share their feedback without fear of retaliation, or talagang meron tayong fixed na reporting systems where everyone can refer back to whenever they encounter mga roadblocks, mga harang sa daan nila kapag meron silang ginagawa. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so those are the ways to overcome these challenges. All right. And now let's move on po sa ating next na topic or activity, so to say. And we'll call this one po Quiz B. And I encourage everyone to please participate po. This is a very simple na activity where all you need to do, just like any typical Quiz B, the participants will be answering group of questions given by me as the host. Just state the color of the correct answer, and the first participant to answer will be held as winner. Okay, so we have red, white, and blue, I guess. But we'll see later on. Okay, so check the question, check the options, and let me know what's the color of the answer. Okay? Send pa sa chat box. Question number 1. What communication approach should be taken during a workplace crisis? For example, their safety incident, urgent system outage. So, ano po dyan yung dapat natin gawin? Red, immediate approach, notify all concerned stakeholders right away. White, wait until the issues will resolve before informing employees. Yellow, only inform top management and let them decide if staff should know. Go ahead. Okay, so we have our first answer, second one. So there are 25 of you, so I expect at least more than half of you will be able to answer. And once we have more than half, then we can show the answers na po. Okay, we have 11. Have 12. Okay, there we go. So we have more than half na. To those who haven't answered yet, share na po natin dyan, but I'm now going to show the answer. And that answer here po is red. Where immediate approach, notify all concerned stakeholders right away. Because the immediate approach is best because timely communication ensures safety, reduces panic, and allows everyone to take the necessary actions quickly, and delayed information po may worsen the crisis. All right? And so checking your answers right here. All right. Oh no. Okay, so I'm seeing yellow. Why yellow? All of you guys answered yellow. What was yellow? So only informed top management. So the thing here is, what communication approach should be taken during a workplace crisis? Safety incident, urgent system outage, did not notice system outage. Yes, it should be red. Hindi na siya dapat na release information sa ating top management. Everyone should know about it. Which I know you all understand by now. And that's fine. Ano na yan, parang ano lang, practice. Okay? So question number 2, we have, when two departments have conflicting schedules for the use of shared resources, example, meeting rooms, equipment, how should communication be handled? Red, escalate immediately to higher management. White, both teams coordinate and negotiate directly to find a compromise. Yellow, use email threads to argue until one side gives up. Really understand the question and check the options. We have 11 answers so far. We need a couple more. We have 12. Okay, so we have more than half already. Let us show the answer po, and the correct one is white. Okay, checking your answers. Very good. Okay, better than the first question. But indeed po, right answer po, both teams coordinate and negotiate directly to find a compromise, right? Of course, because direct communication between departments fosters collaboration and accountability. Escalation should only be the last resort if no agreement is reached. Okay, so take note of that one. Saka lang po tayo mag-escalate kapag wala na pong ibang pamamaraan. So we've already exhausted all of the other options and we are left with escalating to the higher management, then saka natin gagawin. But if you can work within the other group, like, discussing with them openly and finding a compromise, finding a middle ground, then that is always going to be much better. And great job, everyone. So first one who got the answer here, the way I'm seeing it, it is, wait, in terms of white, that is Sir Irwin. There we go. Great job, Sir Irwin. All right, so let's move on to the next question. All right. In cases where employees are confused about new policy changes, what is the most effective communication strategy? Red, share the memo only and expect employees to read and understand it. White, conduct a briefing or town hall where employees can ask questions. Yellow, wait until someone raises a formal complaint before clarifying. So kapag mga policy changes, mga bagong tools na ni-implement, so what needs to be done? So we have 11 answers so far, 12, 13, there we go. We can now show the answer. And the right answer here po is white. Conduct a briefing or town hall where employees can ask questions. So an interactive briefing or town hall po allows employees to clarify doubts, ask questions, and ensure alignment. Memos alone are often misinterpreted or overlooked. Okay? So checking your answers now, kung sino yung mga nakakuha. So it's still white. It would be hard for me to know kung saan ang ending ng second question tsaka third. So I wouldn't be able to know kung sino yung nauna. Oh God, how do I do that? I think it's a time. First question was 2:15. Yep, it's really hard for me to do that. Anywho, right answer po is white. And great job everyone for getting that. Moving on to the next question. Right, so if a logistics department experiences delivery delays but finance is not informed, what is the best coordination practice? Okay. Red, update finance immediately to adjust budgeting and timelines. White, keep the information internal within logistics until deliveries resume. For yellow, only report delays if clients start complaining. I guess it's a given already, right? Okay, so I have more than enough answers. Thank you all so much. Right answer here po is, of course, red, right? Update finance immediately to adjust budgeting and timelines. Immediate updates prevent financial miscalculations and allow adjustments in budgeting, timelines, reporting. Laugh coordination creates bigger organizational problems. If you wait around and wait for it to escalate, it will indeed escalate further, right? And checking your answers here, it should be red. Great job, everyone, for getting it. And the first one got here. Got the answer. It's Miss Chardine Grace Pido. There we go. Great job, Bob. Okay. And I guess there's one more, right? Yep, there is need one more. So next question po. During project implementation, what communication approach prevents silo mentality between departments? Red, schedule regular interdepartmental meetings or updates. White, allow each department to work independently without sharing in progress. Yellow, assign one person to handle all communication while others stay isolated. Okay, so what is your answer? We have 11 answers so far. We have 12, 13. All right, so we have, yep, all right, good. Checking your answers now and showing the answer as well. There we go. It is schedule regular interdepartmental meetings or updates. All right, so all of you guys also answered red. I think red was also the past question or answer, so it will be hard for me again to know who got it first, but perhaps you know kung sino nauna sa inyo. But hard for me to define or at least to guess. Anywho, you all did well, not just on the first question, but that's fine. Lahat of question after that were all answered correctly, so great job everyone for answering it correctly. All right. So again, thank you for your participation, po, and we can now proceed to the last section of our discussion. Won't be having tawag dyan, a break time anymore because we only have 30 minutes left sa ating discussion. So hopefully it's fine with you guys to just continue. Kung gusto niyo magmerienda, feel free in doing that. You can have your cameras turned off and just eat whatever you want to eat or drink coffee if you ever want to. But yeah, let's move on to developing an internal communication protocol. And this is a very important part of our discussion for today. So establishing clear communication guidelines. So of course, well, guidelines provide employees with a structured way of how, when, and where communication should take place. So they reduce misunderstandings, ensure professionalism, and help avoid duplicate or conflicting messages. And that is indeed true. Kasi having clear guidelines give employees nga, di ba, a structured na framework on kung paano, kung kailan, and kung saan communication should take place, right? So the of course to reduce misunderstandings. Aside from that, it can also maintain professionalism, diba, and avoid duplicate or conflicting messages. And yung impact na nakaka-create niya, if we are able to establish clear communication guidelines, is that it creates consistency, it improves efficiency, and it builds accountability then within the organization. Because of course, if they are able to communicate this mga info, and then them having a clear way or structured way of doing it, then talaga nakakapag-enhance siya ng accountability for everyone, and of course to those who are the ones who initiated yung initiative na yan. So one of the key elements of communication guidelines is that, again, yung mga channels of communication. So you need to define ano yung platform should be used for specific purposes. Again, mga official announcements via email, updates via Teams or Slack or WhatsApp or Viber, or mga project tracking in Asana or Trello or Monday.com, depends upon what you are going to use. And of course, there should be the tone and professionalism. So you need to set expectations sa language, sa tone, and etiquette, such as the politeness, yung respectfulness, and the conciseness or yung brevity ng ating mga info. Kasi having too many words all at once can be overwhelming, while having brevity in your work ensures na kokonting words lang, but the point is there. So reducing all you know, the BS, like that, and just focus on what's important. Okay, and the response time expectation, of course, you need to clarify expected amount of turnaround times, like for example, internal chat replies within 2 hours or mga emails within 24 hours, so that people know exactly when they can expect for the reply kapag meron sa mga question, mga query or feedback. And another aspect here is yung confidentiality and compliance, because you need to specify what can and cannot be shared on certain channels, especially for sensitive data. So dapat is nadi-discuss din po natin yan. And lastly, what we talked about earlier is the escalation process. You need to outline how to escalate urgent matters and through which medium. Kung urgent issues via phone call, followed by email documentation. So parang ganyan. Okay. So example here, a banking institution enforces that all client-related discussions must be done via email for compliance, while internal updates can be sent via MS Teams. But the point there should be email kasi naging ano natin yan, documentation natin yan, that this particular discussions were made, this particular decisions were made by who and by when. Okay. And more of that, we have the best practice in line with establishing clear communication guidelines. And number one there is you need to define approved communication channels, like what I mentioned. For example, email for formal updates, Slack teams for quick chats. And this is very important because you need to again clearly outline which platform should be used for specific purposes so that people will know exactly where to go to in certain situations. Okay. Number two, we have encourage clarity and brevity. This is what I also mentioned as well. You need to avoid jargon or yung mga terms na kayo-kayo lang nakakaintindi. Especially if you have your own terms in your specific industry, don't expect that people that you're working with outside of your organization can understand what you're talking about. Like if I tell you what incidence rate means or what LOI means, of course, maybe some of you guys will understand, or if not, most of you, if not all of you, will not understand what I'm saying. So even if I have these terms and definition na alam ko po from within an organization, it doesn't mean that you guys from outside of my organization understand what those means. But if you're in the market research industry, yes, you may understand that. Pero in most cases, we need to avoid jargon. You need to simplify the words that you're using to ensure clarity, right? And of course, avoid din yung mga long winded messages, which of course in the practice of brevity. Again, you need to keep your messages straightforward and concise to avoid misinterpretation. So too many words will cause information overload or people will lose yung kung dapat saan sila nag-focus. Okay? Next, we have again set response time expectation, like what I mentioned. Because here you need to establish again mga standard turnaround times to manage yung mga workload effectively. So for example, there email within 24 hours, chat within 2 hours during work hours, right? So those kind of stuff. And of course, promote respectful tone and language in all communication. So you need to be professional and mga in a way that is informative, na tone. Okay? So those are the best practices. Next, setting reporting lines and communication norms. So reporting lines prevent confusion by clarifying who reports to whom and who makes decisions. Communication norms create predictability and fairness across the organization. So the thing is, yung mga reporting lines po natin, again, provides clarity by defining po kung sinong nagre-report sa kung sino. Like if you're an employee right now, you need to know exactly who do you report to and who makes the decisions and how information should flow. So this avoids confusion, mga duplication of efforts, and mga misaligned na mga priorities. While communication norms naman establishes consistency across the organization, ensuring na lahat ng mga employees follow the same standards of frequency, the method, and the style of communication. So together, they build predictability, my transparency, and fairness in their communication. So here as well, as mentioned, regular check-ins keep managers informed and employees engaged. So as managers po, you need to reach out to your employees. Kamusta ka na? Ano yung mga challenges mo? Ano yung mga bagay na gusto mo na tulungan kita? So something like that, regular check-ins. And then of course, if you have learned something from um, that interaction, then you can have those information shared from the other team members sa team mo para talaga nagkakaroon tayo ng knowledge sharing. Okay? As example here, a call center has daily 10-minute huddles to align shifts and weekly team meetings for KPIs. So, kinakailangan po talaga yan. Right? So, for some, di ba, sabi nga kanina sa mga sagot po ninyo, may iba na every Tuesday lang, may iba every month, may iba naman dyan every other day, like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, like what we have in our organization. So it just depends on what it is. But the point there is that alam ng employee ano yung frequency din po ng mga huddles ninyo. And what are the, ano yung mga nade-discuss during those discussions as well. Okay? Now, as part of the best practices, or rather before that, we have here yung example ng reporting lines based on the hierarchy. And from here, you will have the CEO, and their bottom line, we have the manager, mga two branches, and from within managers, may dalawang TLs or team leader, and with each TLs, they have their own set of employees. So that's gonna be the top-down na communication. So you just have to opposite that if it's bottom-up. So you as a worker will report to your TL, TL report to manager, manager will report to their CEO, like that. So it's that simple. Now, like I mentioned, we have here the best practices. So number one, establish hierarchical escalation path. Again, so our team leader to manager to director. It's important because you need to define again the escalation steps so employees know whom to approach when issues arise. Okay? Number two, we have set reporting frequency, mga daily stand-ups, mga weekly reports, monthly reviews, those kind of stuff. Because you need to standardize how often updates are shared to keep everyone aligned and for them to have this expectation that during these discussions or they have this upcoming na mga meetings where they can also share yung kanilang mga experiences with their team leads, with their managers, para talaga nagkakaroon tayo ng mga regular na communication and mga regular updates on both sides. Okay. Next, we have normalized two-way communication, not just top-down directives, but also feedback from employees because you are all working on the same company. And of course, yung talagang nakakapag-experience on the ground, yung mga frontline natin are our employees. So they'll know exactly what's happening. They have these issues that they have experienced na kapag hindi natin i-share sa ating management, then nagiging blindsided din sila sa mga ganyang mga bagay-bagay. So dapat na-allow po natin yung ating employees to makakapag-share sila ng ganyan mga experiences. Okay? And you also need to use structured reporting templates like it should be clear, it should be concise, it should be actionable. That's very important because again, you need to provide mga standardized na mga formats for reports to ensure information is clear, it's concise, and again, it is actionable. So templates kasi reduces yung ambiguity or yung mga hindi klaro mga bagay, make it easier for leaders to compare, to track, and respond to those mga nare-report sa atin. Okay, so those are the best practices here. And then next po, we have managing information overload rather, which is yung prioritizing updates. So employees are bombarded with too many emails, chats, and reports. Without structure, critical messages get lost. And an internal protocol helps filter, summarize, and highlight what truly matters, right? This is a very important part talaga, wherein kasi alam po natin na, as employees, we go through lots of emails on a daily basis, right? Therefore, there are too many information that's coming within us, and we may not know exactly ano yung pinaka-importante dyan. But of course, internal communication na protocol provides solution by providing or rather by organizing how information is shared. It ensures that messages are filtered, summarized, and focused on the most important points, making it easier for employees to know what truly matters. So dapat talaga meron tayong internal protocol. Okay? So as an example here, project manager sends weekly updates with 3 sections. We have the progress, the issues, and next steps. This ensures that clarity and avoids overwhelming details. So kasi meron silang structure, so alam po natin talaga ano yung progress ng kanilang project, ano yung issue na face nila, and what are the next step sa kanilang project. So you as a manager know exactly what needs to be done, or yung mga external na mga clients natin or mga external stakeholders know exactly what's happening and what issues are they facing with. And perhaps baka meron silang maitulong. So having internal protocols is very important because again, it provides structured na framework. Okay? And here you will see the best practices here. And number one po, use the need to know rule, only share information relevant to the recipient. So not every employee po needs every piece of information. So that's the thing. So overloading people with irrelevant na mga details creates confusion and wastes time. So you need to establish po a rule in your case na yung nasi-share natin dapat is that yung kinakailangan nilang malaman lang. Okay? Para ma-avoid yung mga information na hindi naman kinakailangan, mga irrelevant na mga details that can just cause confusion. And of course, sharing information selectively ensures employees stay focused on their roles and responsibilities while being aligned sa overall goals. So as an example here, a client escalation update may only go to the project manager, team lead, and quality team, not the entire department. So hindi na dapat malaman ni HR, malaman ni CEO, if it's that, siguro kapag mababang level lang ng mga issue, not every department needs to know about that issue. Only sa project manager, sa team lead, or sa quality team lang. Hindi na dapat alam ng ibang mga department what the issue is. Okay? Next, we have highlight action items, deadlines, and responsible persons clearly. So employees must be able to immediately identify what needs to be done, by whom, and by when. Okay, so kinakailangan po yan. Alam natin kung sino yung, ano yung dapat gawin, kung sino yung gagawa, at kung kailan dapat gawin. Clearly labeling the action items in messages or reports helps prevent yung mga delays and accountability issues. Okay? So as an example here, instead of siguro how do you call that? Um, So, kapag meron mga issues, for example, with the projects, may nagkakaroon ng mga delays, or if not, may mga feasibility issues, dapat alam po natin kung sino naging in charge yan. So, usually, si sales din naging in charge sa mga costs, mga feasibility na mga issues. So, therefore, you need to know exactly how to report to those issues and to whom as well. So, dapat yun yung mga nagiging importante dyan. And next, we have use bullet points, headers, or dashboards for easy scanning. So in this case, people often kasi kumbaga kapag nagbabasa sila ng napakaraming mga words, kumbaga nagsiskim lang sila. Hindi nila binabasa lahat ng mga words. So you only look for the most important ones. You don't read every detail. So structuring communication in a scannable way keeps details stand out. So kumbaga meron tayong again mga framework. Like what I discussed earlier, kapag meron tayong mga project updates, so you have the progress, you have the issues, and you have the next steps. So, alam ng mga nagbabasa ng mga report natin kung saan sila pupunta if they need to know about something. So, if I need to know what's the current progress, then I will go to the first section. If I need to know baka ano yung mga issues na na-face niya, I will go to issues. And if I ask or if I need to check what are the next steps sa project niya, then I go to the next steps. So I know exactly where to check each information based on what I need to know, not having to read a paragraph or an essay or mga stories na umaabot ng ilang chapter just for me to know exactly what I'm trying to search for. So dapat meron tayong mga bullets, may mga headers, may mga dashboards for easy scanning or easy referencing. Okay, next we have implement notification management, avoid spamming chats with redundant updates. And that is true because constant mga pings or mga repeated updates on chat platforms can cause employees to miss critical information to, or if not, pwede silang mag-disengage dyan. So group updates into scheduled messages or use tagging wisely so only the right people are notified. So pwede nyo itag yung mga taong kinakailangan or pwede natin pagsama-samahin lahat ng mga updates in one email and then send them in those channels siguro or sa newsletter po ninyo para they don't have to read, emails ng paiba-iba. They can just focus on one email and all of the information are there. Para in one sitting, they know exactly what they need to know. Okay, so you can also do that. So as an example here, instead of siguro sending 5 separate na mga updates on a project in one morning, why not compile them into a one summary post at the end of the day? Rather than reading 5 emails, isa na yung babasahin natin. And now, it contains everything sa isang email lang. So, okay, now lastly here, we have provide executive summaries at the top of long reports. There you go. So, yung mga, ano kasi, mga busy leaders and employees need a quick overview before diving into details. So, an executive summary highlights the key points, mga major decisions, mga immediate actions, so readers don't miss out the most important information. So if for example here, kapag meron tayong mga 10-page siguro mga project report, begins with a one-page summary covering status, the risks, and the next steps. So something like that. Para alam natin yung overview on the matter. And don't have to go and read the whole 10 pages itself, which is very time consuming. You now have a summary sa lahat naman nangyari, sa lahat naman experience natin. Making easier to make people understand what's happening. Okay, so those are again the best practices in setting reporting lines and communication norms. And with that, Paul, I'm going to be asking you all a question, one final question to be precise. If you could design a simple golden rule for internal communication in your team, what would it be? So thinking about your team structure po ngayon, the way your team leader does it, or kapag ka kayong team leader, um, if you could design a simple na golden rule or yung rule na dapat nasusunod ng lahat for internal communication in your team, what would that be? So if you have, an idea, feel free po in sharing your thoughts po. So we have our chat box for you to share those information. Anyone? Any idea?
Sir, I have an idea, sir.
Yeah, please do share.
So for me, my golden rule would be if it's anything serious, anything major, you should immediately update the whole team regarding about it. And if anything that is not that very severe, not that very, or it is petty, you should consider giving it to the necessary person that you should communicate with.
And I agree with that. So going back to the question that we had earlier, and thank you for that, Sir Miguel. And I do share the same sentiment as you guys, in this in this matter. So kapag ka mga urgent updates or if it's that important, then yes, you need to report it right away and inform the whole team. But if it's not that, as you mentioned, if it's petty or if that's small, if it's not hindi naman ganyan ka complicated or hindi naman ganyan ka severe siguro, then might as well report that to all the siguro mga relevant na mga stakeholders lang. I agree. So as for my side on this one, I would really say siguro yung golden rule is to communicate clearly, concisely, and with purpose. So only share what's necessary, make it easy to understand, and ensure the right people receive it. So that is the most important thing. Okay? So just to break it down, dapat yung mga messages natin are clear. It should be concise. So meaning, when you say concise, keep it brief, focus on what matters most. Huwag yung magbabasa ka ng parang story. May chapter 1, may chapter 2, may chapter 3, and so on. So what I need from you is you need to be concise as possible. Focus on what matters the most. And of course, with purpose. What's the purpose of your message? Right? There needs to be a clear purpose on why you're saying this. It could be to rant or it could be to inform. Depends on what it is, but there needs to be a clear purpose because every message should have a reason. It could be an action, an update, or an important information. And of course, the right people. So you need to follow the need to know principle, like what I've mentioned, shared earlier. So just to show with you a bit, itong number 1 dyan. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Ito. Use the need to know rule. Only share information relevant to the recipient. Because so messages reach only those who actually need them. So kapag may mga information na hindi naman kinakailangan ng HR, ng procurement team siguro, or ng finance, then don't inform them those or don't tell them those information, hindi naman din nila kinakailangan. So if there needs to be one part that they need to know, then that's the part they need to know. But in certain contexts, yes, they need to know the whole story for them to get siguro the background of things. But in most cases, let's practice yung need to know na rule. Yeah. So this rule kasi keeps communication efficient. It prevents overload. And it ensures na talagang merong accountability. Right? So here, communicate respectfully. I like that. One of which na nakakaligtaan ng ibang tao. That they forget to, communicate with respect. Well, meron kasi ano dyan, parang difference in perspective about respect. Respect should be earned. Respect begets respect, something like that. Or you take the first step in respecting other people, even if they don't respect you otherwise. But again, depends upon you. But yes, in professional setting, communicate respectfully. Communicate to connect, not just to complete a task. I like that as well. There's this clear purpose and there's this siguro noble na I don't know principle in terms of communication. All right. Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress, and working together is success. Wow. Words to live by, Miss Sunshine. I like that. Complete the data when reporting or communicating. Yes, so don't um, share information half-heartedly or kapag kulang yung info. Um, it will just lead to more issue or it will just lead to siguro mga misunderstanding, right? So might as well mag-inform ka kapag when you have all the data that needs to be gathered before reporting. Yes, I agree. Ensure the precise submission or release of communication. Exactly as well, Miss Karen. All right. So I guess that concludes our discussion for today and I would like to thank you all so much for being here and hopefully po may nakuha po tayo sa mga na-discuss po natin, especially on the barriers. Dapat iwasan po natin yun. Just to share with you a bit. Where was that? Yeah, wait a moment. Ito. So let's all ano po, tanggalin po natin yung mga barriers na yan. So if you have a team, then please do make sure po na natatanggal po natin yung mga bagay na nandyan. Alright? Gonna be sharing that in the chat. Lalo yung silo mentality. So if you have information that you think is important that needs to be shared, then please share them. No? Wag po natin i-withhold yung mga ganyan mga information if it's going to help the other people, especially if they're part of your team. Okay? So yeah, leaving the room for questions if you have one. Perhaps meron pa yung mga gustong itanong po. Feel free in doing that. I've already turned off the screen sharing. Again, so if you have any questions po, feel free in letting me know. If not, we can already close this training. Yeah. So that you can all have 12 minutes of your time back. Okay, thank you. Then po, Miss Karen. I'm taking this as a walang question. So yeah, if you could all turn on your cameras, that would be amazing po for we're going to have our final photo up. So if you're interested po in taking more of our trainings, feel free in viewing us on our Facebook page by viewing facebook.com/STCS Asia. Or you can communicate back to the customer support po na nakausap po ninyo when you register to this training. So we have tons more of training sa aming mga upcoming sessions po namin. And if you are interested po, meron po kaming self-paced program na if you're feeling a bit introvert, not having to be in one session with a lot of people, there's a trainings, meron po kaming program where you are the only one in the session po. Okay? So again, let's have those cameras turned on. Pakita mo natin yung mga nagagandahan siya na magagapang mga mukha po natin. And I would like you all to give out your best smiles because this will be posted po sa ating page. And hopefully that's fine with you. Your last names will be hidden. Just the first names will be shown, to have confidentiality on your last names po. All right, so let's have the screenshot in 3, and 2 and 1. Smiles, guys. All right, there we go. Thank you all so much, po. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, God bless, and hope to see you all again in future trainings here with SSCS. God bless po sa inyo lahat. Thank you so much, you guys and ladies, of
Thank you,
course.
sir.
Thank you po. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. God bless po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Miguel.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Rainier. Abe po.
Hindi ko nga makita yung mukha eh.
Bye-bye.